I followed the rehab exercises my physio gave me, so why do I still feel so restricted? If that sentence hits home, this video is for you. Many of the clients I work with start exactly where you are. Cleared by a professional, told they are fine, but still in pain, still stiff, still limited in movement. You might be in the same situation. Try strength training, stretching, maybe even personal training. Maybe it helped you for a while, but the pain and stiffness never fully went away. Here's what nobody told you. Everything you tried was guesswork built before anyone actually found the root of the problem. That's the gap. I'm Laszlo, a personal trainer here in Vancouver, and this video is about how to close it. The pain itself is one thing, but it's what comes with it that really wears people down. You modify how you sit, sleep, and move throughout the day. There is a mental list of things you avoid, certain exercises, certain position, anything that might trigger the next flare up. And without really deciding to, you are started building your life around the pain instead of fixing it. Managing it has become the plan. And when movement stops, everything else follows. Energy drops, body fat creeps up, muscle starts to fade. The body you used to have feels further and further away. Not because of age, but because pain took movement away from you first. Underneath that, something quieter is happening. You used to be really active, and that version of yourself feels like a distant memory. The longer it drags on, the more you wonder if you are just going to have to accept this as the new normal. So you try something new. It helps for a bit, and then you are back where you started. Or you stop trying altogether because you have been burned enough times to know that generic advice doesn't work for your specific situation. Here is what most people in this position don't realize. The back hurts, but what's driving it is usually somewhere else entirely. It could be a hip that's been tight for years, a compensation pattern the body built around an old injury, an asymmetry nobody has ever properly assessed. That's why nothing has fully worked, because nobody had found the actual problem first. So here is what I built to close this gap. A 6-week program called the Root Cause Reset. By the end of 6 weeks, you will know exactly what's been causing the pain. The areas causing your restriction will be actively improving. And you will have a clear roadmap for what comes next, built from what we actually find in your body, not a generic plan. And as the movement comes back, energy returns, body fat drops, muscles follows. You start to feel like yourself again. Every client who has been through this has left with real answers and real early progress. That's what 6 weeks honestly delivers, and it's more than most people have gotten from months of trial and error. The reason this approach works where others haven't is simple. We find the root cause of your pain before a single exercise is programmed, and we build from that. Think about the last time you were genuinely consistent with something. Physio exercises, a training routine, whatever it was. You showed up, put in the time, and the pain still didn't fully resolve. Consistency only works when the approach is right. If the program was built before anyone looked at what was actually holding your body back, grinding through it harder doesn't change what it's built on. Working harder on the wrong approach doesn't fix the approach. It just costs more time. People tend to blame age for the stiffness, restricted movement, and loss of capability that builds through their 30s and 40s. Most of it is structural. Compensation patterns the body built around old injuries, asymmetries the body has been working around for years. The distinction matters because structural problems are fixable. When I started working with Brad, he had sciatica radiating down to his foot. He was on daily medication and the pain was affecting everything. But what hit him hardest was what the pain had taken from his body over time. In his late 20s and early 30s, he had been in great shape, strong, lean, active. By the time he came to me, the muscle was gone, body fat had creeped up, and he barely recognized himself. He came in on daily medication and left pain-free. Same structural problem, different starting point. Vera came to me in her late 40s. She didn't have chronic back pain, but she had had unpredictable flare-ups for years that made regular movement really challenging. Over time, she gained over 30 pounds. When she decided it was time for a change, we found the root cause, a significant side-to-side imbalance in the strength and mobility of her hips that nobody had ever identified. Once we addressed that, everything changed. We built real strength from the ground up. She is now deadlifting 170 pounds and squatting over 160 for sets of 8, completely pain-free. No flare-ups, no limitations. She lost over 40 pounds and she looks better than she ever has, a complete beginner in her late 40s. Abital's situation was different again. chronic back pain, not flare-ups, not sciatica, just a persistent ache that had been there so long she had stopped questioning it. She had never lifted weights in her life. We found the problem. Years of ballet had weakened her core and pulled her posture into a chronic overextension nobody had ever looked at. Once we addressed that, the pain went. She has been active ever since, 2 dress size down, moving freely for the first time in years. I know it works because I have been through it myself. In 2021, I tore my Achilles. I was devastated. I wasn't sure if I would ever be able to be the same person again. I spent 4 months in a boot, unable to walk, which caused a lot of compensation and asymmetries in my body. But as soon as I could, I got to work on those imbalances. I mapped out exactly what the injury had done to my body and determined how I could correct it. Within a year, I was able to completely eliminate the asymmetries my injury caused and rebuild the strength in my legs. I achieved that even without having surgery. That process made me realize how many people are stuck in the same cycle. In pain, losing the body they had, just wanting to feel like their old self again. And that's why I built the Reset. I have been a personal trainer for over a decade, working with people carrying untreated asymmetries, chronic pain, and years of failed generic training behind them. Every time the assessment comes first and the program is built from what we actually find, the outcome is different. Brad is now pain-free, off medication, and in the best shape of his life. Vera has lost over 40 pounds and deadlifting 175 and squatting over 160 pounds. Abital back pain is completely gone and she has dropped 2 dress sizes. All 3 started with the Reset. So if this resonates, if you have been dealing with back, hip, or neck pain and everything you have tried has only partially worked, the root cause reset is what I built for exactly this situation. Here is what the 6 weeks look like. First, we find it. Session 1 is a full root cause assessment. 2 screens that map how your body actually moves and where the restrictions are coming from. You leave that session knowing exactly what's been holding you back, not a guess, a finding. Then we fix it. 6 weeks of in-person training built entirely from what the assessment found. Targeted mobility work, a symmetry correction, a prehab block at the start of every session addressing your specific restriction sites. Then we map it. By week 6, you have a clear picture of what changed, what's measurably improved, and a full roadmap for what comes next. That's the root cause reset. 2 sessions per week or 3, depending on what works for you. If that's what you have been looking for, DM me the word reset on Instagram.